Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be listening to the band Taproots for the very first time. Apparently they're in the world of Afro-Caribbean rhythms with jazz, funk, and rock elements. That is quite the set of genres, but you guys know how I feel I love genre blending. And in addition to those ones that we listed, apparently this style also takes a bit from the world of Latin music and incorporates reggae as well. So we have quite the assortment potentially to experience today. We're going to be checking out the song Remembering, and also for that song we're going to be attempting a lyrical analysis. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any of those lyrics online, so I'll do my best to pick up on everything as we hear it. But apparently the song at a very high level is about how do we choose to behave, how do we choose to act in this world on a day-to-day basis. And at every point, at every second, there is a choice that we can make about ourselves, about how we choose to think, feel, behave, how we choose to respond and react to situations. There's always a choice that's in front of us. And of course, it can be very overwhelming, but it is also in choosing that we discover how we have agency in this world and can impact the future for better or for worse. For me, that's going to be very interesting to unpack the lyrical side of things, but when it's against the backdrop of all of those unique genres we've mentioned, I think we're going to be in for a very interesting experience today. So I'm super excited to check this out, but before we do, a massive thank you goes to Matthew for making this reaction request. Now, my friends, let's jump into it. It's a cool album cover. See like the tree of life growing out of the world. I guess you see some frequencies emerging like the ozone. Oh, this feels like structured and unstructured at the same time. I believe, Matthew, you mentioned bands like Snarky Puppy and Frank Zappa, and we all know how crazy that can sound. So let's see where we go. Oh. Wow. The lead melody in the brass and in the bass, the froggy bass.
Walking out that door, will you bring peace or war? We all got to choose.
Okay, yeah.
Wide awake or numb, what will you become? We all got to choose.
War or peace, wide awake or numb, we
From the
choose.
day to night, will you live wrong or right? We all got to choose. With each waking breath, do you want life or death? We all got to choose.
Oh, nice feel change. Nice. Right back into the swing.
Every time you through that door, you decide who you are. Nothing more, we all got to choose.
Every time you walk through that door, we decide who we are.
Every time you through that door, you decide who you are. Nothing more, we all got to choose.
Okay, so in line with what I was told about this song before we jumped in, the presentation of all of these choices, the war or peace, the feeling or the numbness, the life or death, all of these very, very, I guess, important choices for how we choose to behave. It's not like we make that decision one time and it exists in perpetuity. Oftentimes we have to reevaluate and make that new choice once again. Even though you make the same on paper decision, you arrived at that decision having a whole new set of experiences and potentially different reasons or thought processes. It's one of the reasons why we watch TV shows, just to put that example out there, because we want to watch how a character develops across time, seeing them dealing with a situation in the earlier seasons where, let's say, they were bullied, for example, and didn't have great self-esteem, and then across time they come into their own, they become more resilient, they have more self-esteem. Witnessing that journey, it didn't happen in a day, it happened with every single incremental decision. And to me, like, I've always thought that the small details are the things that can often be more telling about how a person thinks, feels, behaves. Like the other example I'll put out there is, like, if you were only the most loving version of yourself on Valentine's Day, then maybe it's worth reassessing why that is, because Valentine's Day exists as a marketing scheme and not as an actual holiday for love, even though that is the labeling. It's just to extract money from you. But have you been loving to your partner, to yourself all year in the little ways that you can show up from moment to moment? And those are all the little choices to be peaceful day in, day out, and not bring war to the table. And war can just be a stand-in for conflict, for disagreement, whatever. It doesn't have to literally be a world war or something like that. But it just shows you that at every single point, even though you've confronted a similar question, the answer, you still have to arrive at the same, hopefully peaceful answer.
Build it up or tear it down. Will you crawl in mud or with a crown? We all got to choose.
Build it up or tear it down.
Yours and mine get it straight this time. Uplift and elevate. We all got to choose. As you walk down that road, will you dare to live what you've been told? We all got to choose.
This is a good vibe song. Somehow I can imagine Stevie Ray Vaughan performing this track. Oh, you hear the swelling of the brass? I'm loving the rhythm in this, guys. The rhythm, the melody, the textures, the layering. It's all very well produced. I forget what they call that exact chord movement, but basically just these like chromatic chords ascending here. Da, 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 that kind of thing. Okay, so they omitted the last chord, but the steps were still there. This is such a vibe. Ooh. A full dropout, just guitar and drums. Oh, you hear the kick? Oh, whoa. Have we fully re-entered? Oh, this is an interesting section. I was almost expecting a bigger hit right there. Unless it's building into the next hit. I'm gonna have to talk about a few things before we jump forward here because there's a lot that I want to get off my mind, get off my chest. I'm loving the brass, the crescendoing, the decrescendoing, the swelling up and down. The brass is carrying so much emotion, and with big bands, with jazz bands, that's like more of an expectation. When we're in this sort of fused genre space is when it impresses me more that the brass can be at the forefront in this way. But the thing is, the brass wouldn't be able to sound as good as it does without what's happening in this bubbling bass line. This bass line has just been going throughout, just persisting, but finally in that one little section of dropping things out, we didn't have bass. But then when it re-enters, it really establishes the floor again. Like I mentioned, the expectation I had coming out of that section was a bigger hit. So it's almost like we're easing right back into the intensity of this song. But one other note I want to mention about the bass is that in this song, the bass and the guitar almost have like a sort of reversed role where, I mean, the bass is already a very like rhythmic instrument. The way it sounds, that those frequencies are going to reverberate within you quite easily, and maybe more so than a guitar might. But the lead melody is also appearing not only in the brass but in the bass, and the guitar, you can hear it. It's quieter, it's a bit thinner. It's almost like this undercurrent to the bass that thinly outlines its melody, without overtaking it. So I don't know. I imagine it like a space blanket, kind of thin, reflective. It's there, it's shiny, it's visible, but the meat of what's important is underneath. Oh, I love the feel.
Mountaintop and heal the circle.
Wow, the feel changes.
Hear the choirs of all time sing, yeah. They sing the song, every song the world has sung.
Oh my god, the harmonic minor. Oh, nice movement there.
Songs of remembering.
Wow, I like this, dude. Heal the circle, hear the choirs. Feels like a song about unity, planetary health. Let's make this world a better place, kind of thing. I like how all over the place these drums are, really playing with the whole kit, positioning each sound. Oh, you hear the guitar? It is so subtle in there, but you can very lightly hear the strings being strummed through. I like that texture. I love this section. I don't know how to describe it. Whoa. The crescendos, the swelling, this minor melody underneath. In this section melodically, I'm reminded of a band. They do kind of like jazz fusion, Latin infused stuff. I think their name is called Streetlight Manifesto. I believe they also do a bit of ska, and then also loosely then I'm reminded of a different band called Goldfinger. It's not a complete 1-to-1 with Taproots. It's just, I feel um, there's similarities in certain elements of their style. Um, this is nice, man. Listen to that pattern. Feels like all of this is coming to a head. Dude, such a good melody. This segment is infinitely loopable. The way we hit the major 5 chord and then step our way back up. Oh yeah. Wait, I want to hear that part again. Okay, ending with the shaker there. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. It is 16th notes, but it has that weird swing feel within it, which I like. And whenever I hear that kind of movement, da 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 da, you like take 3 steps up and then descend again, but you're on the second pitch of the first pattern. So it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 2 3 4 3 4 5, and then you kind of make your way up the leaves of this pitch tree. This is a very, very beautiful song. I think I feel like at the beginning I was a bit lost in the section before the actual drum beat came in. But what I enjoyed about the first section, without as much obvious structure, is that a lot of the elements were perfectly mixed and sounded beautiful. Definitely there was a lot of attention paid to the production, where things were panned and the levels of stuff. Like that by itself sounded extremely pleasant, but the thing is, you have to have a good melody, a catchy feel to like, I guess, have the listener engaged for longer. Otherwise, like with the likes of like Frank Zappa, Snarky Puppy, if you stay in a place that is too hard to digest for too long, you may not get the emotional impact that you would like. And you kind of are, there's a bit of a trade-off. You're optimizing for a different aspect in the listener's experience. This song, I feel like, blends beautiful melody writing and songwriting with the set of genres. I feel like I didn't get too overwhelmed at any point when it came to the musicality. Once I like figured out what was happening with the different instruments, which instruments were taking care of the rhythm and the melody, and seeing how that interplay worked itself out, then it became extremely catchy and loopable. So I feel like there is a slight learning curve to a song like this, but once you kind of get it and it sinks into your gray matter is when you get the most out of a track like this. And you can stack on top of that too the meaning of this song, this idea of choices and things always being on your plate, so to speak. The song has this like persistent energy about it that is consistent with having to make many decisions across time. Also, it makes me think like the more that we have to make very active, concerted decisions requiring all of our brain power and cognitive resources, I wouldn't say like the worse off we are, but we're thinking we're working harder, not smarter. Because if it comes to like values and what we want to do and how we want to move this world forward, there is a lot of time that we need to spend planning, ideating, making sure that, okay, in this new situation, how do we appropriately act? And have we considered all of the first, second, third order effects here? We can think ourselves into infinitum. And at the end of it, we just have to do what we think is right. And so there's going to be this eternal, I think, dance between how can we optimize our decision-making processes so that we do things morally to the best of our ability to move the needle in a positive direction without also being its own set of, call them like philosophical golden handcuffs. Because the moment that you are fully restricting yourself to one thought process and forego that psychological flexibility required to make nuanced, effective change in this world, is the moment where you kind of veer too far off in the other direction. So I like the song because it is like, okay, a remembering of the fact that we always have a decision, because so very often people are kind of, what would you call it? Like in zombie mode, kind of going through the motions, not necessarily thinking about why they do things and checking the assumptions that they hold. And there's a very long list of cascading effects that follow as a result of that inattention to the self and to the world. And so if we can flip that on its head and say, hey, actually you have a lot of agency in your own life to make all of these choices, and you have a great many choices to make at the minor level, at the large level, then I feel like that starts to motivate us as humans to make some changes. Because like even for me, like as an example, I run this reaction channel, and it's all on me. Any part of the creative process, any part of like responding to comments and emails, and every bit from top to bottom is all me. And anything that I do to influence this kind of ecosystem that I have, it is all on me, and I can witness the change firsthand because I'm in control, because I believe that I have agency here. And I think not enough people believe that about their own circumstances, and maybe for very good reason, but that's the direction I feel like we ought to move to, is one where we are more involved in our own lives, where we recognize our own innate value and agency in this world, and then we can see where things go. But I think this is a really awesome track today. I don't even know what my favorite element was. Probably the brass, since we talked about it so much, but please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. As always, if you'd like to request a reaction yourself and support the channel, you can do so by using the first link in the description box below. But thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.